Good morning, everyone. I think people are wandering in, but in the interests of time, we should get going. I'm Ramesh Rao. I think I've perhaps met almost every one of you, but it's my pleasure to welcome you personally to this workshop, and we really mean that. It's an opportunity to get stimulated, to think of new ways in which we can address the challenges that await us. I want to take a few brief minutes. I know there are some old-timers here. Bob Dines from the very beginning. Delighted that he's able to spend the morning with us. So let me start by saying just a few words about CalIT2, the California Institute for Telecommunications and Information Technology. We were set up at the end of the year 2000. And right now, CalIT2 is a partnership that includes UC San Diego. We are the headquarters. UC Irvine from the very beginning. I'm delighted that Professor G.P. Lee, who is the director of CalIT2 at Irvine, is here with us, as well as UC Riverside, joined CalIT2 recently. And Professor Shane Seibart, who is the director of CalIT2 at UC Riverside, is here with us. For those of you who might be interested in the formal history buffs, so to say, these institutes are led by the chancellors of these three campuses by design. So Pradeep Khosla, chancellor here at UCSD, is the lead principal investigator. Howard Gilman, the chancellor at Irvine, is the co-principal investigator, and Kim Wilcox, chancellor at UC Riverside, is the most recent addition to this. And the three of us, GP, me, and Shane, are the three stooges. What's the guiding principle that drives us? You know, I don't want to spend too much time, but Pradeep summarized it for us once. He said, you own nothing and you help everything on campus. So it's an interesting organizational expectation. And part of what you will see today is how we've gone about doing that over the years, and how we look to continue that into the future. But again, organizationally and institutionally, what we've done on all three campuses is create new facilities, advanced labs that are open to everybody on campus, increasingly startups off campus. We've also assembled expertise, technical folks that partner with faculty, partner with startups to be able to do new things that you can't do all by yourself. So that's essentially what the state support, each one of these institutes got $100 million, substantial support, allowed us to do, is to create this persistent, well-staffed, professionally run infrastructure that can be of value to a variety of projects over time. Larry Smarr retired recently, but he remains active, and some of you know him, have worked with him closely. But going back to the early days, we organized it around a combination of both core technologies and its applications. So the technology investments we made included nanotechnology. Both GP and Shane are experts in that topic. The CHIPS Act finally brings it a certain kind of recognition. Wireless and optical communications, augmented reality, visualization. But we also had a focus on application spaces, right? And the 4 areas of application areas that we picked included health, which is the focus of today's workshop. But we also called out back then the environment, culture, and energy. And I think over time, these areas have only gained in their significance in terms of things that we want to be able to do. So this workshop, as I said, focuses on health. I'll call on GP and Shane in a few minutes to talk about workshops that we have planned that will be hosted at Irvine and that will be hosted at Riverside in the next few months. But before I go there, I wanted to share with you how you might make sense of what goes on here, never mind our history. So if you're a student and you want to take the perspective of a student, you come in here as an undergraduate sometimes, you learn about research that is taking place, you go on to do graduate work, you get a master's, you get a PhD, and sometimes your work results in a startup. Inflamescence, an example of an activity that you will learn more of. Troy Boo came to UCSD as an undergrad student and just finished his PhD and is decided that he's going to spend his time commercializing the work that he did. If you're a faculty member, they're not here with us, they will be joining us. There's a lot to be said about seizing the opportunity, and Dr. Christian Demeff and Jeff Tooley, who are in anesthesiology and emergency medicine, looked at what was happening to, for example, the Scripps Health system that got hit by a ransomware attack and took them a month to recover, and came up with this brilliant new idea that ARPA-H decided to invest significant resources on. It's all about ransomware and how it affects healthcare systems. How do you plan for it? How do you detect it? And how you recover from it, right? It's a pretty imaginative journey from, spending time watching over patients that come into an emergency department to being able to seize this national role on creating new ways to make sure that the nation's hospitals can cope with this new threat. If you're an entrepreneur, I want to call out the experience of one of our entrepreneurs here, Dimension Genomics. They came to us in the middle of the pandemic because our clean rooms, our nanotechnology facilities were open even during the pandemic. We just heard about the Nobel Prize in chemistry, protein structure, just the other day. And Dimension Genomics is building chips that will allow you to capture the structure of your DNA, not just the linear readout, but what is its structure. And there is information encoded in the structure that's valuable for diagnosis and interventions, therapies. So there's an example of a startup that has an idea of its own, takes advantage of our facilities, takes advantage of our innovation space, and I can't help acknowledging Sandy's phenomenal role in many aspects of what we've gone on to do, but without her support and her leadership, we would not have been able to run up what it took to create this innovation space all the way up to the Office of the President and get official sanction. So we are not letting in startups here by looking the other way. They are here fair and clear, and great things can happen. I also wanted to mention briefly, because there are so many highly trained professionals in this town, there is an opportunity for you to engage with us as an encore career. Hari Gurudadri spent his entire life working at Qualcomm, did very well for himself, and decided to quit Qualcomm Inc. to join the Qualcomm Institute. Learned late in his life how to write winning proposals and secure funding from NSF and NIH to build hearing aids that take better advantage of the technologies that every cell phone has. But that hasn't been deployed in the kinds of systems that are currently marketed. So Hari will commercialize it, and there is a company called Nadi that will be, he'll be talking about it, but also partnering with the Veterans Administration, partnering with communities that have suffered disproportionately because of how these technologies are deployed and how they are even developed, that puts non-English speakers at a disadvantage, that makes it difficult for hearing aids to actually be responsive to the real needs. So before we call on our plenary speakers, I wanted to invite GP to say a few words about the workshop that he's planning. He's an old hand. He's been around the UC system for longer than he'll probably want to share with you. GP, could you please come up?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It is my great pleasure to be here, and my name is GP Lee. GP stands for good person, very easy to remember, from UCI. And I'd like to follow up with Ramesh's comment about the health, and with the strong collaboration between Irvine and San Diego. Over the years, we have done a lot in Irvine. I can give you a few examples. To start with, we create the e-health. E stands for empowerment of health and wellness with technology. It's not just electronic health. And one of the very intriguing result out of one of the project is create music graph, which really showcase how CalIT2 was about interdisciplinary research combining arts, engineering, and social science and medicine to come up with this music graph to help stroke patients to regain their mobilities. And that is really what the CalIT2 is about. And over the years, luckily we had Professor Larry Smart. Under his great leadership, we start with a microbiome. And now at the UCI, UC San Diego has a major microbiome centers leading the US journey in this area. And also under Professor Larry Smart's PRP project, Pacific Research Platform, and we start engaging our medical school in medical AI. And now this is the norm in today's AI arena for the health. And so recently, we have been working together with Ramesh and Shane from UC Riverside and to leverage HP RIM from UCSD and try to bring public health solution to the needed community. So I think Shane is going to talk about later on. So regarding the upcoming workshop to be held at the Irvine, we will have the workshop focusing on quantum information and computing innovations. And it will be held on November 14. And what you can see here is all three campuses have major effort pushing towards quantum science. And I think this is really the moments how we can really join force, maybe have a cross listing of classes and research program and going after major grant. I think this is really the great opportunity for all of us work on this emerging field, exciting field. Thank you.
I want to call on Shane, who's no stranger to this building or to this campus. But
Yeah, good morning. It's my pleasure to be here as well. And I remember being a student at UC San Diego when they founded the CalIT2s. And this building was really high technology back then, right? We had these fancy clean rooms and all these resources that the campus didn't have. And it was as a student participating in this, it was really exciting. And now I find myself trying to bring Riverside into that. And I think working with San Diego and Irvine is really giving me a lot of experience and that I can pull from Ramesh and GP to learn ways that our campus can actually contribute to the ISI. And we bring a lot of interesting things that I don't think the other campuses are as familiar with, such as we have a very good agriculture school. And we have a lot of interesting things going on up there in precision agriculture. We have a lot of plant genetics that are going on at Riverside. We have unique techniques for preparing specimens to look at biological samples and so on. So bringing this expertise into the CalIT2, I think, is what I want to do with Riverside. And this workshop series, I think, really highlights how do we bring Riverside into this unit. And health, we just formed a new school of medicine at Riverside, and we're looking at expanding that into getting a hospital and trying to maybe be as great as San Diego or Irvine in health someday. And quantum, that's another area where our engineering campus is looking at, but not just quantum computing, but also we just formed a new AI center, and we're looking at other advanced computing techniques and machine learning and so on. And then at Riverside, we'll have our workshop, which we are planning in February. So I hope everybody can come and visit. The weather's pretty nice up there around that time. And it's not too hot, it's not 100 degrees. But the idea for the February workshop is to be more general. So while these first two workshops are gonna be focused, the February workshop at Riverside is gonna be a launch to really highlight what do we have to bring to the collaboration from Riverside. And so it'll be more of like a launch where we really kind of have, sessions on precision ag, on what we're doing in AI and computing and plant sciences as well. So with that, I thank Ramesh for having me here, and I'm excited to hear what the speakers have to say in health.
Thank you.